like it chilly. Chilly today and hot.
You've been wearing it all day.
Hi. I'm doing great. Oh, I left my water here from last time. I'll take that home. Greg has been sitting there for 2 weeks, so nobody dusted in this spot.
Nobody cleaned there.
That's the good thing.
Hey, Greg, I have a little thing here for you. What's this? Let me see it. It's a brother. It's a brother.
Good evening, Mr. Tucker.
How are you?
I am well. How are you,
I
sir?
am good. Thank you.
Good. I got your handy. Ooh, thanks. Ooh.
Oh, look at that. Great minds think alike.
I got these butter rum lifesavers in Paul's defense.
Hey,
I know you like
I
them.
need some good defense. I wish they would do grapefruit ones.
You can tell if it's a grapefruit.
I'm starting now.
Oh, you can see it. Okay. You want some
Thank you.
butter rum lifesavers?
Sure.
Let's see.
Won't say no to that.
Pink, okay.
Well, not. It's gonna get hot. The temperature's gonna go up.
Nice afternoon.
No.
From our house, but.
I didn't even get an agenda, but it's on my phone.
No,
It wasn't in the box.
Good, how are you?
It
Good.
wasn't in the box. Somebody took my agenda.
Box.
So there's two. I don't know. Sometimes.
Well, I got it.
It's all right. I got it on my phone. I'll be yelled at having my phone up, but guess what? I don't give a shit. There we go. That's what I think we should hit. How much sick time do they get? How do they track it? Those are the questions I'm
Did you get this email with this that I sent?
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
that was helpful.
All right, I call the meeting to order.
Okay.
We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start with roll call, please.
Greg Carnes,
Here?
Jennifer Eden. Here. Herm Ferguson,
Here,
Dean Hawes,
Here.
Pam Waffler, here. Chris Repetta,
Here?
Zach Tucker.
Here.
All right.
Hey, Greg, before we get into the public hearing, I had a number of calls from residents questioning whether there was going to be a public comment time within the public hearing in addition to the one that we have for our normal meeting.
The answer is yes.
Okay, thank you.
It'll be the same 3-minute rule, and it will also have to obviously be towards the subject matter, which is the budget.
Right, thank you.
All right, so I will open the public hearing and introduce Casey, our accountant. The purpose of the public hearing is to review the proposed
2026, 2027 fiscal year township budget. The property tax millage rate proposed to be levied to support the proposed budget will be a subject of this hearing also. And Casey,
Instead of switching the body.
Are you going to read the public notice, hearing notice?
yep. I just read that. I didn't read a copy of the budget supporting.
I was just asking because traditionally I thought I remembered, and it may not be that normally that's read in its entirety, but
I did. A public hearing will be held before the Township Board on Tuesday, March 3rd. Proposed 2026, 2027 fiscal year township budget, all funds. The property millage rate proposed to be levied to support the proposed budget will be subject of this hearing also. Again, okay. So do we have the PowerPoint?
Apparently not.
Uh-oh.
Pam, just use the PowerPoint one that's in there. That's right, the two up, I think.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Terry.
All right, good evening. You can go to the next slide. So before we get into the actual budget, I just wanted to go over a couple of quick items. So some budgeting basics. The township is legally required to adopt a budget prior to April 1st of each year. The township board holds a public hearing, which is being done tonight. The budget is legally adopted on a department or activity level. We do monitor the budget on a monthly basis and do present that to management. And on an as-needed basis, we do make budget amendments, as I've come before you before, to make those amendments. Our budgeting processes, we do look at estimated revenues and expenses based on prior experience and anything that we do know that is available at the time of us making the budget. We determine the needs of the township services and evaluate current year spending to determine needs of the township.
Again, this is just an estimate, just a budget. Could go up.
Correct,
could go down.
and one thing with budgeting is why we do have the amendment process is when new things come to light, that's when we bring budget amendments back to you. And so, yes, it is our best guess at this moment in time what the budget will be for April 1st, 2026 through March 31st, 2027.
And the best guess is based on history.
Correct.
All right.
may I ask a question?
Sure.
Before we proceed? If the budget is based on legally adopted on departmental activity level, I have submitted specific questions to be answered, and they were not answered at all by any department or department head in preparation for this meeting. So I'm wondering how we can...
Did we not offer up
That's-
multiple
you know,
opportunities to
no,
answer?
Wednesday from 10 to 1.
Well, we
When
offered-
we still have jobs.
We offered up today as well. And
Again,
trustee Ferguson and trustee Tucker seem to be able to get in and do it.
that's great for them. That's great for them. Why couldn't you had since the 23rd of February.
You
Why
did.
couldn't you have responded in writing and answered the questions and sent us back a document? That was what we understood when we submitted these. Is that submit them by the 23rd, and we will get you your answers prior to the meeting so that we can respond and we can be prepared.
We're not obligated to answer 150 questions.
are.
When,
Yes, you are.
when half of them
Yes, you are.
are
Chuck, is that true?
silly.
That they have to
If
answer?
we, I as a trustee have a question
Yeah,
about
do
the
they- is that
budget,
true,
they're
Chuck?
required to give me
They have
answers.
no legal obligation.
Okay, there we go.
No legal obligation
Okay.
to give the residents an answer to questions. Is that what you're telling me? I want to hear you say that.
I had residents come in and ask me questions.
I complied with the rule that you set out, Greg, that those questions being in on the 23rd would be answered before there was no predication on we'll only answer 10 questions or 5 questions
Okay.
or 1 question. So I think we have one more meeting before April 1st. We should postpone this until we
We're
can
not
get,
going
Let's
to.
move on.
No,
we
that's
could, we
not
should
gonna happen.
postpone this in order to get the answers to the questions so we can make a determination.
Carry on, Casey, please, with the slides.
So part of the budget process is going over some of our major events that we had during the current fiscal year that we're in. So I'll turn that back over to Greg if he wanted to go over those.
Yep, we actually have had these on the previous budgets in the Carmer Road asphalt resurface, the Heartland Road asphalt resurface, the Fawcett Road regraveling, and then in both those spots, and then that shouldn't be Fawcett Road, should that? No, that should be Foley.
No, Foley is for next year. These are major events that we did this year.
Heartland, oh, I got them mixed up, yeah. Then the Old Town House repairs, which included the ramp footings, the ADA lines, brick markers, painting, landscaping. Our well here at the township had, I forget, what was that, the high count? Do you remember what? Anyway, we couldn't drink it. I think you remember when the fountain had do not use tags on it. So we had to have the well chlorinated so that the water was usable. Come to find out, that is probably going to be something we're going to have to do every 2 to 3 years. Also, the septic tanks hadn't been pumped in quite a while, so and by quite a while, I mean, I don't know, 2 to 3 years, I couldn't find when they had ever been pumped, truthfully.
Not for us. We never had them pumped,
Yeah.
did
I-
we? No, I don't think.
I couldn't find where they'd ever been pumped.
I think it was
since
prior
we
to
were
us
here.
being here.
So anyway, we had those pumped. And then I would just like to make
It's
a
a major
note that we have had a budget surplus since 2010. Went back through the records and
Will we be able to discuss giving some of that money back to the residents this budget cycle?
it's a budget,
Surplus, right,
yeah. Yeah, it's a budget.
Can we give some of the surplus back to the residents?
right.
No.
It's a budget.
Just continue to tax.
It's a
okay?
budget.
Just want to understand.
Just trying to understand.
All right, the 2026, 2027 assumptions. This is where my folder goes. Center Road asphalt, Runyon Lake to Heartland, Fawcett Road asphalt, Linden Road to McGuire, and Foley Road gravel resurfacing, Heartland Road to Mabley Hill. Oh, I meant to tell you, I got email today from a resident saying, oh, he's really happy that that's getting done. That is a bad spot. And then we're going to have to allot 30 to 35,000 for the well installation. That, of course, is the consumer's power drop that we did not allow for in the previous budget. All right.
All right, on this next slide, so speaking of, Pam, is there any way to make that bigger?
You want to show mode?
Yes, boss. No, I don't know how to do
Okay.
it.
I can show you where it is if you need to.
Kick you back to slide one. All right, so this here is the township millage rate, and as you can see, the current millage rate is .8382 mils. As you'll see in a later resolution, when we do adopt our ability to set the tax levy, we could levy up to 9.018. And on that chart, I know it's a little hard to see, but if you do look at it, on this $100,000 taxable value, the township portion of the taxes is $83. And then as we can see, the different color-coded items there do show the different where the taxes, your taxes do go to. So on to the next slide.
Well, I would also
Oh, yeah,
like to
sorry.
add that Tyrone Township has the third lowest millage in the county, and the two townships that are lower, I think they, Marion and Genoa, but they also have a, what is that, a fire
Fire, yep.
assessment? They have a fire assessment that is not part of that
Included that.
millage.
Is that an
So-
increase or decrease this year?
That
Then
is,
it's been a decrease every year. Like I said, once we get to the resolution, we
They're gonna
do
s-
per state statutes, I believe we could levy up to .9. That is based on the assessed value and what we can actually assess at. So that, those millage rates for that do come out in the May to June timeframe. So we'll have to see where that's at, but in my recollection from being here the last 8 years, that rate has always dropped every year since I've been here. This slide is just a numeric representation of our general fund budget. So revenues, we're budgeting $2,045,693. And expenses, we are budgeting $2,138,743. So we were going to spend a net $93,000 out of our fund balance this year. Next slide. On these slides here, we're just trying to show in a pie graph where our revenues come from, and that green section is from our state revenue sharing. So each year, the state does do revenue consensus conferences. They do one in January and one in May. The one that I did sit in on January this year, the outlook is that revenues are slightly down for the state, and this could affect us in future years. The next slide, this is our general fund expenditures in a pie. Now, the red up there, that is our transfers out. Now, for us here, we transfer that out for specific purposes. And in this budget, that is $100,000 going to the Township Improvement and Building Fund, which is where the fire well is being paid from. And the other $400,000 is going to the Township Road Fund, where we do have other road projects paid out of. So that's what the red represents. So the largest chunk of our expenses are for those two items. And then here, this is just all of the other funds that we have. As we've discussed before, we do have sewer funds here. We also have some debt funds, and we also have a lot of special revenue funds for, as you can see, rubbish removal. There's a Great Oaks Drive that's for snow plowing and other road work. So these are all assigned fund balances for them, and each year we do have to budget for each of these funds separately, and these are the budgets for that. And that concludes
and that's the
our
last
budget
slide.
presentation.
Is there a reason that the revenue and expenses, the expenses are so much higher for the all other funds that were running a $209,000 deficit to cover that?
Yes, and on those sewer funds, that's because we have debt service on those. We do have operating expenses, so those have greater fund balances that are being used and have been used for many years.
Okay, so I'm just reading it wrong then, that having a deficit means we don't have enough money in the fund, so that money's going to have to come from somewhere else?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this chart here just shows the amount of revenue over expenses. It does not actually indicate the particular fund balance that is in these funds. So that is correct. It's whether we're going to add to fund balance or subtract from fund balance. So although it says deficit, that is not a deficit fund balance.
Okay, sorry, I was confused because it says deficit.
It truly does.
And it doesn't
Yep.
show the starting balance,
Correct.
so.
That's a great point, and something we can look at for the terminology on that. That's a carryover for many years, but now that you say that, that makes sense to me.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Then I'll open it up for public comment.
I do have lots of questions. I'd like to start off by going
This
through.
is the public hearing. That
Right.
must take place.
So you're not going to allow me to ask any questions from the list of questions that we have? Am I to understand that correctly?
You will get to ask those questions when we get to that.
We get to number one.
Number one on new business. Okay. Yes, Jim?
I just want to wait, can I hold, I just want to understand, public hearings are for us to have dialogue first before the public makes remarks, isn't that correct? And then they can remark on what we have dialogue about. If this is just about a public comment time period, that's really abnormal from all other public hearings that I've ever attended here.
Are you ready?
So you're just going to ignore me on that, or?
I'm not going to ignore you, Chris.
Am I wrong about this? Is it just to hear public comments after no discussion from the
It
board?
seemed like we'd have the full discussion on the budget before the comment, before we get to the,
Anyone? Bueller?
Yeah, we're going to do the public comment. We'll take care of your questions in the.
We want to hear the
No,
questions.
I think they want to hear the questions and dialogue first before they make comments on them before we have a vote.
Mr.
It's out of
Supervisor, let's
order.
move on, please.
It's
Go
out
ahead.
of order. This is highly unusual.
Did you say it was time for the public comment?
Chuck doesn't run
Chuck's
this.
not the elected official
Hey,
here.
let's
Chuck
move
is
on.
not the elected
Then why don't we
official.
vote as a board and see what we want to do? I make a motion that we start with the public comment.
this is not something.
Second.
Well,
It's not something you vote on.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All right.
So I'm curious
Doing
about
the
that
public-
right there. Why did he have to make a motion? Is that necessary?
Are you going to?
Is that necessary to make a
Start the
motion?
time.
You can start the retarded clock.
Start it.
Is it necessary to make a motion, Greg? Because I remind you at the last meeting, no motion was made to appoint Kevin Ross, ever. Did you make a motion to appoint Kevin Ross,
I thought we
sir?
were talking about the budget. What does that have to do with this?
Okay, well, I posed my question, you don't want to answer it. So, I've talked to Chris about some of his questions, and I know you call it pirating the meetings, Herm. I actually have mostly the same questions he does. But since I get 3 minutes, I'm going to pose you one. Just one. I was at 2 different meetings this year where guys filed appeals for their fire charges, right? You guys remember that? You voted to make the one guy pay $1,500 and something bucks. Then Noah Schwartz, you voted to make him pay because Chris suggested it. You split it with him, $750. What's that, $2,300? So I look on your budget, your papers, your ledgers, documentation. There's a line that says fire run credit collections, recovery of fire run costs, fire run collections. Every single one of those lines has blanks at the end. I know those people paid you, right? Why don't you document it? Where did that money go? That's just the ones that filed appeals. I don't know how many of those charges you collected. And Herm, I don't understand why you're a business owner. If you deposit $2,000 in your account for your business one day, and it shows blank lines the next day, are you gonna check into that? Of course you are. You didn't even document where the money came in, where it went, and that's money I know because I was here when you voted to collect it. Where's it at, Greg? So my presentation to you, if I'm on this board, I can't vote this budget through. Do you care if there's money missing, Herm? You're a business owner. Do you even care? Because that raises a question, what other money's not documented for? It's a simple question. You have a line right on there that says this is where we document this money that came in. It ain't there. And your budget is full of them bullet holes, which is one of the same questions that Chris has, but we don't want to take the time to answer those, do we? No, we just want to move on, don't we, Herm? Why don't you want that question answered, Herm? I find it curious. You're an attorney. Would you care if $2,000 came up missing? Of course you would. We all would. The same people that cry about people costing this township money, you can settle it real quick. Just show me, where's that? Go ask Noah Schwartz, did $750 come out of his account? Sure did. Where'd it go? To this building. Where's it documented? If it's somewhere else, then why do you have these lines on there? For no reason? For confusion?
Okay,
There's one of your 100 million questions, Chris. And they're all good. I would think so.
Thank you, Jim.
yes.
Jody Kelly. To my loved ones and friends that I advocate for in Tyrone Township, we apologize that we're not able to get the answers to your questions about the budget that you were waiting anxiously for. The supervisor and board failed to provide those. The following are the steps that trustee Chris Rapetta took to obtain the answers to what he considers the single most important issue, which is how your hard-earned taxes are being spent. On January 20th, 26th, at the budget discussion, he was shut down and criticized for asking too many questions. How can that be? Too many questions about taxpayers' money? Next, he asked if he could have his questions posted on the website for the community to see. They said no. They told him to submit them by email and they'd be put in the meeting packet. Hardly enough time for his supporters to digest that information. But as it turned out, you never put them in the packet anyway, so even though you said you would. Out of the blue, trustee Rapetta received a message from the supervisor that a meeting has been scheduled for February 25th at 10 a.m. to discuss his questions. He never asked trustee Rapetta if that was convenient, as Rapetta works full-time. Regardless, Chris did say that he could clear his schedule for that Wednesday or Thursday in the afternoon. The supervisor said no, this meeting is required, and then sent a copy to the lawyer. Trustee Rapetta never heard another word about it. Even though the board has spent thousands of dollars to be trained on how to work together, this feels like retaliation and censorship. This is why the community can't get answers on how their taxes are spent. Even though it's the most important subject to most people, obviously the board doesn't see it that way.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Jody.
Gordon Tomaszewski. I would just like to ask you how you can all vote for a 5% raise for the treasurer, the clerk, and the supervisor. Herm, you work in the private industry. Do you give your employees annual 5% raises, 24% raises in a year? Cadillac Insurance? I deal with financial issues, and I'm going to tell you something. Private industry normally bases their pay raises on CPI. You want to take a raise, that's fine. 2.7% was CPI for 2025. So if you want to raise, you know what, 2.7, at least you're not looking like you're complete hogs. I don't know what you think you've done to deserve an extra 2.3%, because from what I've seen in this township, we're lucky we're getting the bare minimum. Another big issue which Mr. Ropetta has brought up, which really sticks in my craw, is we turn around and we've got a budget surplus. That is great. But that tells me that we're being overtaxed. I've looked into it. Maybe some of you should. Do a little bit of research. Typically in most townships, if they do run, or governmental agencies, if they're running a surplus, they're running 1.5% to 2%, or 2 times their annual budget. So by that fact, we've probably got an extra $3 or $4 million sitting in the coffers. Why not return it to the taxpayers? But you love to tax people, and I guess maybe your raises are going to get higher and higher. I don't know. And my last question is for the board, and specifically you, Mr. Carnes. Do you want us to ask questions? You don't want to answer the meeting. You're the one that professed when you ran you were going to have town hall meetings. You know what? You could have called the town hall meeting before this budget discussion to sit down and go over with residents and explain to them and go through the budget and take your time and inform the residents. But no, all we want to do is come in here and rubber stamp. So if you want me to come in and ask 100 questions to you personally or the other township officials, I can gladly come in every day and make it a habit. I'm retired, I got plenty of time. But there are a very, very large amount of pertinent questions that were listed on that budget that should be addressed.
Thank you, Gordy.
Anybody else?
Jeanette Ropetta, Tyrone Township resident. Regarding the clerk's salary in this proposed budget, a lot of residents may not be aware of what's happened in recent years. Not last year, but the previous year, the clerk received an 18% increase after requesting that herself. She did request a 1-year temporary salary increase, that's all on video. And it was presented to the public as a 1-year temporary adjustment tied to increased election duties. Elections don't happen every year. The understanding, which was vocalized by previous Supervisor Cunningham, was that the salary would return to its prior level after that year. That promise also is on video, which the clerk heard. That did not happen. The higher salary remained in place last year. But that's not all that happened last year. She also received an additional 6% increase on top of the 18% that she was supposed to rescind back. Now today in the proposed budget, she still maintains the temporary 18% increase. She maintains the 6% increase from last year. And now today she's going to vote in favor herself of giving herself another 5% increase. The 18% was never temporary as promised. When raises compound from the base, that original 18% temporary adjustment permanently changes the long-term compensation structure. So this is not a minor bookkeeping detail. It affects future percentages and budgets and long-term taxpayer obligations. When the public is told an increase is temporary and it later becomes permanent despite residents asking why, it raises legitimate concerns about transparency and accountability. Before approving further increases, I believe the public deserves a clear explanation of why the previously described temporary adjustment was never reversed. These are taxpayer dollars. Decisions about compensation should be handled with clarity, consistency, and full public understanding. I hope the public pays attention to items 7, 8, and 9 in the regular meeting tonight. That's where you will see, after this discussion here, where you will see, if there is one, the clerk vote in her own raise, knowing that the 18% should have been removed last year. That's where you will see the treasurer vote in her own raise of 5% after receiving 11% increase last year, all while telling the public that the tax revenue and interest earned does not belong to the people. And that's where you will see Supervisor vote in his 8% increase, despite broken campaign promises for transparency and workshops, and more workshops. We all know what the three of you will do. You won't look at the people, you will just look down and you will vote yes for your raises. And I think that that's wrong.
Randy Pierce, Tyrone Township. I read through a lot of the questions Chris had, and they're all very viable questions. And I'm sure that the bulk of them can be explained through the budget and through the board. But coming to a board meeting and going through 42 pages or however many questions there were, when I read his brief, there was like 42 pages to go through. Not entirely all those questions. But I would suggest that you guys actually do a workshop, postpone that vote right now because everybody's up in arms about this. Now, I'm sure a lot of those questions are pretty easily answered, but not in this venue. You guys need to have a workshop, sit down. You're gonna put Jennifer on the spot and Pam on the spot trying to run through all these pages to explain them. We're gonna be here till midnight and still not get the answers. I suggest you guys have a workshop amongst the board, call a special meeting, come back and make the vote. You've got 3 weeks before that deadline. That's just my thought. I think those questions do need to be answered, not in this forum. I just don't think you have the time or the resources to answer all those that quickly. So my thought is actually have a workshop amongst yourselves, get the questions answered, and then bring it back to vote before the deadline we need it done by. That's my put.
Thank you, Randy.
That's what we were promised they would be answered before this meeting.
It was never our intent to have those questions answered at this meeting. We asked for them to answer for 5 of us.
Is there anybody else?
Kurt Schultz, Silver Lake Estates number 2. Having been through the budget process many times myself, I look up here and listen to us again have a surplus, which is a good thing. Then I hear we're going to increase the levy.
No, he said.
You're not going to increase the levy. What are you doing then? If it went from .82 to .91.
We didn't levy up to .91, we levied .83.
All right.
The limit is .9, we do not levy to the limit.
The other question I have too is in regards to the paid positions that we have. We have 3 elected full-time people, and we have 4 elected, or excuse me, 4 elected, what get paid a stipend. They get paid per meeting. The way I see things is we have full-time jobs. Now, full-time jobs here are 32 hours roughly. That's when the office is open. Now, some of you work more than that, and I wouldn't see that as a problem. But we have one person who isn't even here on a full-time basis and is getting a full-time pay. I'm curious as to whether one should be drawing a full-time salary when one doesn't put time in here at the office. So I would certainly not be in favor of number 7 on here for the resolution to increase the supervisor's salary. He needs to be here all the time. This is a full-time job. And somebody has the idea that just because they have other things they have to do, that this is not a priority. That's crazy. And anybody who would take a full-time salary and then not show up at work, what would you do with them? You'd fire them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Scott?
Scott Dietrich, White Lake Road. Before I get started, the salaries are on new business, right? They're not on the workshop, the public hearing, right? So that's a different issue, so I can make comment on that later. I think the problem is, we've had classes, you guys have tried to have meeting with Dean and Chris, they can never make them. And they complained about Kevin missing time because he was in the hospital treating for heart condition. But you guys can never make anything. Golfing at Mar-a-Lago, when you couldn't make it here. Oh, we already heard about it. Of course, we already heard about it. But anyways, you went to Mar-a-Lago, we heard. But anyways, but you can never make it. You can't make classes. We had classes set up to help you because you're never prepared.
This is part of the budget?
This
And,
is
Not part of the
What
budget.
budget is this?
well, whatever. They were talking about stuff outside the agenda too.
No, they weren't.
No, they
Leave it to the budget.
Well, this is the budget.
No, it's not.
Didn't you just say you had a meeting to discuss the budget? You interfered with me again.
Middle of the day.
It's about them not making the budget meeting you had. Am I right? So you can't make any meeting. So I'm trying to say, if you couldn't make that meeting, you couldn't make it. We keep setting dates. Okay, you said you were gonna, you got elected, you should make yourself available sometimes to come in here and learn how to do these things. I mean, I can come walk in here anytime and get answers. I've always got them. I'm not trying to, but you guys are never available to get answers. I don't know why. But anyways, it's just ridiculous. But to have a meeting for Jennifer to explain, she would have to do it without interference. I'd like to see Jennifer we have a meeting where Jennifer could sit down and explain all these things. He could come in and explain all these things. Well, we're going to get interference from back here. We're going to get interference from here. And it never stops. I just put on there, Grand Blanc is having one. Put it on the page today. They're going to set up a workshop. It's 2 hours long for budget and a lot of budget issues. So it is a good idea to do it. But I fear it's going to be another, interference. It's just like the beginning of the meeting today. Everybody knows, he's been coming to meeting all these damn years, you always have public comment on both. And, it's just, every meeting has to stop Greg from starting the meeting. It's just like interfere, just to throw everything off. You said your thing, shut up.
Hey. He's right.
You guys don't
Stop telling me I never said a word.
every time somebody's up there talking.
I never said a word.
Shut up. He said it to you once. Shut up.
I never said a word.
She did.
Hey,
Where's the sheriff?
I think it's,
Hey, that's attacking
You guys had to come up there.
He's being very aggressive.
all right, Scott,
Everybody.
Listen, I don't get to interfere with them.
I'm going to have you leave. Stop.
Again.
Just stop. Just stop, or I'm going to have you leave. All right. Do we have anybody else, public comment?
Would it be appropriate for me to address the board without something regarding the budget, just myself?
Not until public.
Well, during the...
No, if this is not the appropriate time, I won't do it.
No, if it's not the budget.
Yeah, thank you.
You're not talking about the budget. Thank you.
I have a comment. Chris Ropetta, resident at this moment for public comment. You know, it's a real travesty because we do spend a lot of money. We do spend the people's money. And you guys promised, you even voted, because I asked at the last meeting, Chris Ropetta asked when he was trustee, to what better way to be transparent about this process. And you guys lied because Greg said, get your questions in so we can have them answered by the time the meeting was there. So that's a lie when you tell anyone that, whether you're part of the public or part of the board. This is the board of lies when it comes to budgets like this. You don't want to hear the answers, you don't want to be addressing the questions, and that's really sad. Because the people deserve a lot better than that. I deserve as a resident a lot better than that. And here we are, you guys want to just throw more money at things. Revenues are down, and you want to throw more money at yourselves. It should be against the law, even though Chuck over here will tell you it's not, that you board members should not be able to vote on your own raises. You shouldn't be able to. That's just bad. It's a bad look and, you know, sad. It's really sad. So I think you all have missed an opportunity to even look at these questions and try to understand, because we have serious problems. We have an overtaxation problem. Why do I know that? We have over $7 million of unallocated funds in the bank. That's what all the balance sheets and spreadsheets show. That's what's been publicly proclaimed here in this, when we had the audit. $7 million. Now, I know that Mr. Wood, at one point in time, I heard him talk about, you know, Mr. previous supervisor, Mr. Cunningham, wanting to build police stations and fire stations here. Are you still saving for that? Is that part of the plan? It's not part of the budget or the master plan. Why do we need that so much money in our budget? We don't. We don't. It's reckless. You guys don't have business experience. You don't have finance experience. You don't have management experience to be able to answer these questions. That's why you won't answer them, because you don't know how to answer them. I apologize to the people who see that. You just don't. And your experience here on the board, that doesn't give you the experience. Look at the mistakes you're making. It's pathetic. And it's sad. So you should be ashamed of yourselves that you can't answer these questions. These are not difficult questions. There's just a lot of them. They should be answered before this vote goes on.
Sorry.
Resuming trustee status.
Anybody? Any other public comment? All right. Then I will close the public hearing. And we will move on for approval of the agenda. Or any changes?
I make a motion to accept it.
Second. You can, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. All right, approval of the consent agenda, Township Board meeting minutes, February 3rd, 2026. Clerks, warrants, and bills, February 25th, 2026. Do you have any questions? If not, I will,
Make a motion to approve consent agenda?
Support.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Communications. What do we have there? I don't think we have any. No communications. All right. And we will move into the public remarks. for the business agenda.
Is there time when we can talk about whatever?
Yes, yes.
Tim Broad, Tyrone Township. I wanted to address last meeting, one of the comments that I made. I want to apologize to each and every one of you. And I want to apologize to the residents of Tyrone Township for the comments that I made about you, Greg. I know nothing about your personal life per se. And those were, I went home and reviewed the video, and it was horrible what I said. And it didn't get across what I wanted it to say. I was trying to not be vulgar, and the words came out that were not right. So I want to apologize to each one of you guys. I'm very sorry for those things that I said. The point that I was trying to make, Greg, is that it seems relatively obvious to me that you're struggling to be the leader, and you're getting information from inside this building, and you don't include the four of these people. And I find it interesting that the three of you will look at me when I'm apologizing, but when I go into something else, you don't even want to look at me. So that was my point. How I said what I said, I truly am sorry for that.
I'm going to break my protocol here and respond and say, you really need to apologize to my wife.
Well, I was going to get to that, Greg.
I know you better than that, and I was a bit taken back.
Let me finish.
Okay.
I tried 3 different times in the last 2 weeks. I drove into your driveway. Your car, I don't know which car you drive, she drives, or whatever, but neither car was there at the same time. And I knew that she probably would be a little horrified if I was going to bring my wife with me, but it just never worked out. I think you were gone all weekend. Again, I am going to attempt to apologize to her because that was totally inappropriate. And again, I am extremely sorry to all of you for having listened to that. I think, Herman, it kind of got on my nerves when I just asked you a simple question about these shipping containers. I don't get it. It's not a big deal, and I could care less if you have them there. But just to answer it, and this grandfather stuff, that doesn't get it. But again, I am extremely sorry.
Sure.
Jody Kelly. I'm going to read another letter that was sent to the editor at the Tri-County, and this was sent by Chris Rapetta, titled Anonymous Commentary. Dear Editor, recent anonymous hotlines concerning the February 3rd, 2026 Tyrone Township Board meeting characterize my conduct as argumentative, narcissistic, and a waste of taxpayer money. Those claims are inaccurate and deserve correction. As a township trustee, my duty is to participate fully in meetings by coming prepared, asking questions, responding publicly, and engaging in discussion before decisions are made. That responsibility exists to ensure transparency, accountability, and informed decision-making on the record. Scrutiny protects taxpayers, silence does not. I did not argue with people who agreed with me. I clarified points, responded to comments, and addressed issues raised during public comment, which is both permitted and expected of trustees. Public meetings are designed for discussion. Engagement is not misconduct. Taxpayer money is not wasted by questions or discussion. It is wasted when boards approve contracts or expenditures without fully understanding them. Speaking on the record and clarifying details before a vote are safeguards against costly mistakes, not the cause of them. Anonymous commentary has its place, but it should not substitute for an accurate account of how public business is conducted. Residents deserve facts, not impressions formed from selective descriptions. Public service requires open discussion, even when uncomfortable. Efforts to discourage questions or silence participation do not serve residents well. I will continue to fulfill the responsibility of this office openly and on the record, doing the things I was elected to do. Chris Rapetta, Tyrone Township trustee. And that was very well written and professional. So, thanks.
Thank you, Jody.
Anybody else? Yeah, Jim?
So one other question I've asked ad nauseum here, Greg. Busy? You busy? I think it's between 10 and 13 times now this year you've canceled meetings or workshops. It says on your resolution, and Herm, what did you tell me over at Woody's Towing? I have it on recording, by the way. The law that he broke, this is your exact words, was speaking on behalf of the board and putting it on a letterhead. So how did you deal with that? We censure him? We try and recall him? Okay, cool. So when someone decides to cancel meetings, Greg, have you looked at that resolution, Herm? It says, be it resolved. What does resolved mean? Resolute? Resolution. That's where we get that word. By this board, it lists the people that voted. You're one of them. You're one of them that voted for those meeting dates, workshop dates. Be it resolved, these meeting dates, these workshop dates, whether at board, planning commission, they will take place on these days. They will. Until someone in this building decides to speak on behalf of the board and put it on a letterhead. Isn't that what you got all butthurt about with Chris Rapetta? Of course it is. It's exactly what you told me. Someone is speaking on behalf of this board. Are they not, Chuck? You guys failed to ask him that question. Can you legally cancel meetings that were set by a board vote? No, you can't. And you know, when you guys had that one meeting, when you decided to end it because you were guilty of disorderly conduct, Greg, you remember that one? I remember I walked up here. I try and talk to some of the board members. They all walk past me. You, Greg, Sarah Dolmanger, you all walk past me. Wouldn't say one word. But I turn around and I got cameras in my face. Hers was one of them. You guys think you're the only ones recording stuff, Greg? Do you? You think we're all stupid? You know how many recordings we have of you, bro? You know what you said on more than one of them? Chuck doesn't know the answer to anything. I can bring it and play it for you if you want. I can bring a lot of recordings, way ahead of you people. That's what he said about you, Chuck. You don't know the answer to nothing. So my question is, why do you go to the same guy, your witch doctor, to figure out ways where everything you do is illegal is legal? Can you cancel meetings? Nope, you can't. Can you have meetings with no public comment? Nope, but you did. And he says it's okay. He says just fine. And I read your response to that law. It's not even worth a response, bro. It's diarrhea. Everything's out of context. It's not even worth my time. But that's your words, Greg. But I do appreciate Tim at least acknowledging. I will tell you, Tim called me the next morning and felt horrible. I'm not making an excuse for what he said. I agree with him. But at least he acknowledged it. I'd love to see that from one of you, ever.
Anybody else? Any other public comments?
Hi, Gordon Tomaszewski. I would like to commend Mr. Brode. I think he showed what people with good moral character do. When you make mistakes, you turn around, you apologize. I've never heard anything from any of you on the board when you've made mistakes or apologized to anybody. I'm going to bring something, I don't normally like to bring outside business into a meeting, but I want to address something that happened at the courthouse on, I believe it was Tuesday we were there. I was in the process of speaking to our county clerk after they announced that the recall effort had been shot down, stating all the case law as to why it didn't meet the standards. There were some really disappointed people that put a lot of effort into that recall. So while I was speaking with the clerk, in between the lobby and the courthouse, I had a gentleman, I'm not going to say gentleman, I had a trustee, Mr. Ferguson, that decided it was a great opportunity to come in and interrupt my conversation. That same person started berating the clerk, telling her she didn't do her job, she didn't instruct us properly, it's her fault that they lost. And then he started ranting on about his CPL permit on how would I know if I filled it out correctly. I intervened because he was acting like a raging lunatic. Yeah, it's funny, Herm. And you know what's really funny? You sat there and you got right in my face. I didn't take one step towards you. You got right in my face. You were within probably 6 inches of me. I'm going to give you a little bit of personal advice about life. I've spoke to a lot of law enforcement. You claim you have a lot of law enforcement friends. Most of them I talk to, you know what they tell me? Put your arm out. That's personal space. You have an argument, you want to argue with somebody, that's fine. I'm a big boy, I can do all day long. But I am going to tell you something. It won't happen again. You can berate your little high school football boys. You're dealing with an adult. And I would suggest you and any adult you're dealing with not to go in and act like an idiot like that. Because I know a lot of people that have ended up eating from a straw from doing that. So yes, sit there and laugh, it's funny. Really funny. And you got guys, you know what, your little groupies get on Facebook and want to say that I attacked you, that I'm out of control. Well, you know what, I've got a favorite saying for that person, and it's from one of my favorite senators, Mr. John Kennedy. He says, you may not be the dumbest person on earth, but by God, you better hope that person doesn't die.
Anybody else? All right. Yeah.
Jeanette Ropetta, Tyrone Township resident. Greg, get some glasses or something? I never said a word, and again you yelled at me. I want to know if I turn around and I stand up and I yell at Scott and yell at him to shut up, are you going to kick me out? Why is nothing done about that? I want to address an issue involving the township's code of conduct. Through a FOIA request, today I obtained surveillance footage from the February 3rd board meeting. It shows 4 board members and 2 township employees engaged in conduct that violates the township's code of conduct policy, a policy that you all just voted a couple months ago after discussing it extensively. I am not here tonight to talk about the substance of the footage. It is clear as a bell. I'm asking about process. So prior to the last meeting, I asked, before the meeting started, how is a formal complaint submitted when the code of conduct is violated? The 3 in the middle, who all know the answer, if there is an answer, would not talk to me before the meeting started. So now that I have proof in hand, which I already have, but I now have it on surveillance video, I want to know how to submit that complaint. The code of conduct clearly says that all people must adhere to it. That means the board and employees also. And if the township has a code of conduct, there must also be a clear and accessible procedure for reporting and addressing violations. So tonight I'm asking the board to do one thing, since you won't tell me how to submit the complaint. I'm asking you to put this on the next meeting's agenda where you will acknowledge the violations of 4 board members and 2 employees and discuss what the enforcement will involve. If you can't do that, then you may as well throw the code of conduct out the window. Policies only have meaning if there is a mechanism to hold people accountable. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2 employees all violated it. I am simply asking that the township follow its own procedures. I'm asking you to remember that just last year, you charged 2 residents with violating the code of conduct. Right? And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to be caught practicing unequal application of the law. Please put it on the next agenda. And he always waits till I get up so he can yell at me.
I'm gonna yell at you. I've done it once. Just like Greg.
Just
She
direct,
just never knows when to
direct
shut
to the
up, does
board.
she? I'm not gonna apologize. Apparently you're hard of hearing, because that's all they do is chirp behind you the whole time you're up here. Apparently you didn't hear it, Greg. You've told her to shut up before. Everybody else deserves respect when they come up behind this mic. She does not give it. You have not held her accountable since day one. To the raises, I would like outside evaluation before we go any further. I talked to several people on this, and I think before we go with any raises, this whole office needs to be evaluated for, I don't know, do we get paid too much? Do we get paid too little? The employees in the office, I want outside eyes. I said that a long time ago. I want to know what job titles. Do we have too many people? Do we have not enough? Okay, so I think before we even discuss any more raises, we need outside evaluation. Somebody, pay someone to come in here and look at this. To everything else that's going on, it's sad because this township, we're just tearing each other apart. And it's only because of 2 people. You could take sides. And Tim and I have been talking, and I asked Tim, I says, Tim, I says, we got to work together to do this stuff, but the misinformation's got to stop. I mean, Chris, you put so much crap out, it's unbelievable. I'll agree with you on what needs to be agreed with, but I've never seen so much BS in my life. I'm sorry. I mean, the attacks out in the parking lot, going to the supervisor's window, sitting out in the parking lot, not letting anybody leave here. I mean, I'm not going to put up with it. I'm going to stand my ground. They can chirp back there behind me, my back all they want. I'm going to give it right back to them. I'm going to stand up. And Herman, guess what? You were sitting in the back of the courtroom with the lawyer, weren't you? And we all walked out that door. I walked up, and Gordon, man, as soon as we got back there, that mouth just kept running and running and running. And guess who the deputy escorted out of the building? Old Gordo. Not Herman, old Gordo. You know why? Who was the aggressor? Old Gordo. We know who they are. They're a whole batch. The Garbage Pail Kids, led by Tammy Faye here. We know it's just attack, attack, attack from you people. And you wonder why people get mad. We just want to come here and run the township. I'll agree with you on certain things, but I'm not going to agree with the attacking and all the bullshit. I'm sorry. Excuse my language.
Anybody else?
I do. Chris Ropetta, resident. It's quite interesting because one of our residents back here, Mr. Dietrich, continues to tell me that I'm a criminal and all these other things, but he produces absolutely no evidence to the fact. In addition to that, he really has a problem confusing men and women. He confuses things that he blames me when other people are doing things, because in his mind, I must be guilty. It's the Sarah Dolman Jersey version of you must be a liar even if you're not lying. You guys remember that? That was exactly what was presented. So I must be guilty because of the wind blowing, which is preposterous. So we don't spend a lot of time listening to him, and that's fine. But I am supportive and happy of everything that I've done. I'm supportive and encourage my wife to do the things to hold accountable that she does. But we are not the same people. We're not one. We're definitely married. But obviously she's a woman and I'm a man. So some people I know are confused about the difference between those. Perhaps Scott might be. But in the same boat.
Do we have to listen to this?
Yeah, you do. You have to
No, we
listen.
don't.
Stop
We do not
interrupting
have to
me.
listen. Do we?
It's a public comment. Stop interrupting me, Herman. Yeah, you're pathetic too at times. Yeah, of course. So the answers that we all seek don't come from the rhetoric. It's not helpful to blame people, to try to get out, and that's all it is. But you guys do nothing to help the problem either. You don't. You don't have a complaint process that you actually follow up on. Nothing. Nothing. So how do you deal with those things? How do you deal with when people have conflict? This is a lack of leadership I spoke about in my last public comment time. You guys suck at it because you are not leaders, because leaders would take care of these things. Leaders would address them. They would talk to both sides of the people of the issues, not just one. You don't just say, oh, someone said you did something wrong. Let's write them a citation, other people, and never talk to them. That's not leadership. That's B-ship. Think of the word bull. So you guys have a real problem. You have no mechanisms in place and to deal with conflict, and you don't deal with it. So this conflict boils over. That's what it does. And you know what? You guys are all responsible for it because you just won't put the pieces in place necessary.
Greg, before we move on, is there something I can add to this?
Public comment time.
No. Well, I won't go and showboat. I don't need to grandstand and stuff, but I would like something to add to the thing about what happened on an email that I received today. Somewhere in this meeting, I'd like to discuss it regarding what happened at this office today with an employee or a couple.
Feel free.
I will feel free to do it. I will.
New business on it.
Yes, sir.
Okay? New
Yep.
business.
Got
All
it.
right.
Okay, perfect.
Any other public comment? Yes.
Allison Opperman, Tyrone Township resident. I've only attended 2 meetings. I've never really spoken at anything like this before, so I'm very, very nervous. But watching the videos on the meetings that I can't attend, there's just a lot of anger in this township, and that's not what us residents want. We want people to get along. We want business to keep moving, and everything just seems very, very stagnant because there's just constant arguing going on. And I think we need to, starting maybe April 1st, maybe before, put it all aside. Let it go, guys. It's getting ridiculous. And we want our township to be better than that. I've spoken with a lot of my neighbors. I've spoken with people from other townships, and they laugh at us because we can't get anything done and all we do is fight. And it's a drama scene to watch these meetings go on, and it's sad. And I love living here. I love living in Michigan, and I want more for us. And I'm sure that everybody else here wants the same thing too. We want to move past this. I'm sorry?
Stay facing the board.
I'm sorry. We want more. And we need to let it go. We need to everybody needs to let their anger, their resentment, their egos, just put it on the table, wipe it away, and start new August 1st for next year. We've got 3 more years of this, and we're not going to take it. We can't take it anymore. It's driving us all crazy. So that's all I have to say. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Randy.
Randy Pierce, Tyrone Township. I'm not going to make it long. I just keep hearing the word respect out of everybody here, and what I see mostly is a lack of respect from everybody here. I try not to be disrespectful to anybody through these meetings, but constant berating back and forth, people accusing, you don't answer me, you're not supposed to answer them. It's public remarks, it's not a question and answer. But all this talk about respect is just going the hell out the window. So I agree with one thing. I think we need to find a basis to actually enforce the code of conduct. I'm gonna challenge everybody here to put down something on a piece of paper. Take it to Chuck or to whoever for legal opinions and create a way to actually deal with this. Because there are legal ways to do it according to the Open Meetings Act and everything else. And I'm gonna challenge everybody here to just write down 1, 2 things they wanna see to actually enforce this thing, because people going off on everybody all the time, and personal attacks, and crap coming out of the back of the room to the front of the room, that, it's not getting anywhere. And I think we're all better than that, and we have to be. So I wanna challenge everybody here, including the residents, come up with something. Come up with a way to keep this enforcement done. It's gonna get hot, it's gonna get hard, because when people get out of line, they gotta be put into line. And that's gonna be your job, to figure out how to do that. Now, I've got some suggestions, I'm ready to put them in the hat. I challenge everybody else to do the same.
Randy, watch the last meeting. I asked this entire board to put together a process, discuss a process for not only enforcement, but for who's going to enforce it and how. And I've got shut down every time.
I was here, and I was saying my piece too.
It's not a
I have some
conversation.
ideas, I'll put them in the hat with everybody else's, including yours.
Anybody else? All right, we will move on to unfinished business. Item number 1, the Lake Tyrone Improvement Board appointment.
Yeah, I guess I still don't understand why we would put, we've already got a Tyrone Township representative on the board. Mike Cunningham is on that board already.
No, Mike Cunningham is not on that board.
Well, according to this, the current members of the LTIB include, and he is listed.
He was. That's
Well,
why he was
he is still
asking.
listed, so.
All right, I'm
Again-
looking for a motion.
Of course you are. Of course you are. No discussion, just a motion.
Yep.
Let's push it through. Because I think you should spend your time in Tyrone Township, in this office, doing your job here, before we put you on a board somewhere else to represent us. Sorry, that's my opinion.
I appreciate the added information, and I was able to look at the website that Mitch put in the email correspondence. That was helpful, Greg, so thank you. Would move to approve the appointment.
I'll second. To approve the appointment of Greg Carnes to the Lake Tyrone Improvement Board.
Yes, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Dave?
Motion carries. All right, planning commissioner appointment. Again, I put Michael Lamberg up. He's here. Don't know if you have any questions for him. He's willing to answer any, but
I do have a comment, if I may. Open for discussion.
all right.
I received my FOIA request. As a trustee, I'm required to FOIA. I'm probably the only one who's required to FOIA for information from the board that should be available to me without FOIAing. So I received my FOIA request after the last board meeting. I made a FOIA request for all the planning commissioners and everybody, appointees and employees, of communication regarding this open position. And that FOIA request was delivered today by my not quite personal FOIA manager, our famous attorney Chuck Widmer. Thank you, Chuck. And inside of that, it did show an application by Mr. Pierce, thank you very much, and a resume from our esteemed Mike, who I, at the last meeting, didn't know anything about. So this board even voted against providing that document that was already in the hands of the township, that public available document. This board had voted against providing me with that document before this very time. Oh, she mumbles something to you and then you pull out your gavel.
I said point of order.
Keep it,
You can say it out loud right into the microphone. That's where it should be
I
said.
just said it.
So what I'm trying to say is why the censorship? Why don't you want me to have access to important information that would help me understand who this nice gentleman is here? Why? I don't get it. Why are you trying to censor me? I bet you everybody else had it. I've got all the emails, people who had that information, but you chose not to give it to me. And that is getting in the way of my statutory responsibilities to vote. Because you may recommend him, I still have to vote on him. So I had the FOIA information.
So we're ready to vote? I am.
So I'm not done yet, don't
I'm ready to
interrupt me.
vote. You're gonna, you know what, Chris?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, just like Jody read, I've got an article here, what you've done for 14 months. What
Yeah.
you've done is called the Chris Rapetta Show. You have an audience. You stand up there and you stand on your soapbox and you do it. For 14 months, what you've done is you've taken advantage, extreme advantage of our good nature, and I don't like it. And as of tonight,
No
the Chris
gavel for him?
Rapetta Show is canceled. It's done.
all right. Hey,
So
we're
I'm
trying
ready
to
to vote.
have a conversation here. Are you done?
Continue, Chris.
So I really want to know, why are you blocking me? I deserve an answer as a board member
I
of
didn't
why.
have to bring you that. I didn't.
But why wouldn't you have a request? Somebody requests, I would.
I made
I'll show it to you. Come on
Greg,
in.
I made a verbal FOIA
All right,
request during the meeting. Verbal FOIA request, and it wasn't answered, and I was still
Yes,
waiting for
I
it.
make a motion to appoint Mike.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay,
Actually, if I might make
out of principle, sorry.
some clarification. Chris, actually, you and I have met previously. When you were running for trustee, you and your wife met myself and my wife as well. We talked for about half an hour.
I remember.
So we did share some thoughts, some experiences, that sort of thing. So I am not an unknown, shall we say, to some of the group. As a matter of fact, I must have left a decent impression with you because you gave me one of your cards.
Sure,
And you also asked me to vote for you,
I did.
which I presume wouldn't be done with anybody that did not leave a good impression with you. So there is some familiarity here. If anybody's got questions, yes, I am open to them. I know the vote is here. But-
You're on the board.
Okay, I'm here.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Love
everyone.
you.
Appreciate it.
All right, moving on to new business. Resolution to adopt the 2026-2027 budget by department totals.
Fund balance, policy.
Number one, resolution to adopt the 2026-2027 budget by department
Oh,
totals.
okay.
So I guess this is the time where I can talk about what we're going to do to help reduce taxes in this budget. I mean, I'm not sure that Casey's the right person to answer that, but what are we going to do? We've got $7 million sitting there. I noticed there's a later agenda item to have 50% of that money be allocated, not touchable, but unallocated. So I want to know from the board, What are we going to do? Why are you avoiding a conversation about how do we reduce taxes in our community with so much capital assets, and especially in cash sitting in the bank? Board members, that's to you guys, not to Casey.
Mr. Supervisor, can I ask a question? Chris, do you know what's on your taxes, what you pay for?
Yes?
What are the allocations on there?
School,
Biggest one, schools.
school, about 60% last time I looked, and a couple of the various things, just without my tax bill in front of me.
Well, let me help you with that. Here's yours. Here's yours. Mr. Carnes.
Thank you.
Tucker.
Who's your stack?
And Herman's. On there, on the right, it shows you, can I borrow?
Sure.
I happen to have
Lesson
left
in
mine.
tax bill reading?
On the right-hand side, this is your winter tax bill. It gives you the description. So you've got county allocated, that's for ambulance, parks, veterans. There's your Tyrone allocated. That's the .8382 that we're speaking of. So that amount on that line is what the townships gets for our millage rate. That's to run all operations, that's what we're giving. As you see, it's not very much. Okay, then you have all your school, your operating, your debt, your building site, your LSAD or GISD, Mott College. You might have a library in there. You have public safety. That's what we all pay for public safety in this township, $175. And you might have special assessments, as in road commissions. And then down a little bit farther.
Wow, that's the high one.
Yeah, exactly. It's for your new road.
Yeah.
So administration fee, that's your 1%. So how do you want us to reduce taxes on here? The only thing we have on here is the millage rate, which is the third lowest in the county, and the administration fee. So how do you want us to lower taxes?
You have $7 million in cash you could give back to the people. That's how you lower the taxes.
It's pretty simple.
You could.
You take the
You
240
could.
You take the 245 that's on my tax bill and make it 100. It's as simple as that.
The other technique that I would recommend,
Is it a lot of
just
money?
as an idea, if you'd hear me out, we could take the interest on that $7 million, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars, and use that to pay these tax bills, and then take everybody's taxes down to $1, which we're allowed to do for a period of 3 to 5 years. That would lower their taxes as well, and still fund the operations of the government. Or, instead of that, you could just give people a refund out of the over $7 million of the budget that we have to a certain
Can you
point.
explain a governmental budget? Because clearly, a couple of members on this board do not understand it.
I'm talking about the budget that helps us to understand how we're going to spend the money. And we have unallocated funds as part of that budget in the general fund. And I like to talk about distributing it.
So let's discuss one thing about unallocated. Unallocated is a municipal accounting term that is used because it is not allocated to one department. So although it may say unallocated, that is where such things as telephone, internet goes, because it's not one particular department. So when Joe comes back in October to present our audit, there's going to be an item on it called other. The other includes that and insurances and things that are not that. So as for what you're speaking of, the $7 million fund balance is the savings account of the township.
Bingo, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
That's correct. That is common practice along all municipality. In my 25 plus years of being an auditor, of working in municipalities, that is common practice. That is what the fund balance is for. And when we get to the next item, we're going to have a quick discussion about different fund balance categories as well. So, and I know you did talk about the 50%. That's just a benchmark that's good to have in there. And for giving back to residents, most times that is considered, that is putting back into the community. So roads, sewer, other things, like I know you mentioned at one point something, there's just the police, I'm just bringing an example, correct? So The returning to the residents is, in governmental accounting terms, is more in those terms of roads, sewers, township improvements, so.
So
just
you
wanna-
could actually have a board that may choose, if it's possible, to allocate part of that unallocated funds to pay for some of these other expenses, right?
Correct, so like when we were talking about, when I
And
think.
thus reducing the rate that Jennifer gave us our tax bills to reduce that
It
rate.
does not reduce the rate. It spends down the fund balance for providing more services for the residents, more, like I said, roads, sewers, whatever the board.
Okay, so that money's not available to pay down on other things then, as you're telling me, right? It's not.
I mean, we would have to, in my 25-plus years of experience in public accounting, I've never heard of paying it back, as you describe it, so.
Well, that's part of the governmental problem I'm trying to address here, is that just because we haven't heard about it doesn't mean it couldn't be discussed. So,
As I said, as in my presentation about next year's budget, our largest expenditure item was transfers out. So if the board decided, hey, we put $400,000 towards roads, if we want to put $1 million or $2 million or $3 million of that balance towards roads, that's your mechanism as a board to give back to the residents. That's what I would recommend.
That's part of what we're asking. What are our options for giving back?
Correct.
And reducing that 7 million to a
So-
dollar amount that is reasonable to a township.
Correct.
Which
So
is
my-
1.5 to 2 times operating.
Right, so my recommendation as your accountant is to, if that's what your plan is, then come up with a plan to allocate it out for more services. Giving it back to residents is not something I have heard of, so that's where I'm saying, that's your mechanism as a township, is allocating it out to roads, allocating it out to a township improvement fund.
I know a lot of people in this township would love it if their road was improved. And would give to multiples, you know.
I also have a quote from the sheriff for extra deputy, if that is something that the board wants to consider. So.
Oh, for our township, extra deputies?
Yeah, an extra deputy to cover. Because if you'll notice in the communications.
We don't have one this year.
Yeah, we didn't have one, did we? The response times are phenomenal when we have a deputy on patrol during that time.
I still don't understand that. I don't understand how we pay. It's like pay to play. If you want an officer, a Livingston County sheriff, to cover Livingston County area, we need to pay more money than what they're getting. And I think that's the wrong approach. If they need help, if they need additional sheriffs, then they need to do their budget so they can add people to cover the areas appropriately. And if that raises our taxes across the board, then okay, we understand that. But I think this individually, because this is what I'm finding out. So we have one already, we're gonna go to 2, Hartland's got 2. Did they add extra resources for that? Or are we just taking resources from our neighboring communities who may also need them sheriffs? And again, I'm not against having sheriffs here. I'm against pulling from other areas because we can afford to pay and they can't.
I believe they hire additional.
Yeah.
Well, the last time I talked to a sheriff, they said no.
I think because we pay their sole salary, so.
Well, and again, I understand that. The last time I asked a sheriff that was in here, if they put an additional sheriff on to cover him when he's gone, the answer was no. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, then okay. But that's what I was told, and that's the only thing I have to go on. And again, I'm not against that. I'm not against sheriffs. I'm not against police being there. I think it's a good thing. I mean, as you know, I have family that's law enforcement.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
But I think we need to do it the right way without reducing the coverage to our neighbors.
Well, the way Sheriff Murphy explained it to me, he doesn't have to have any patrol. None, 0. That is not one of his assigned duties or
budget.
I forget how he worded it to me, a statutory duty.
Well, then, I'd like him to come and explain that to us.
He puts them on, he patrols because he has extra funds to do that. He doesn't have to do that. He's responsible for, like, the death, drownings, search and, rescue, that kind of stuff. But I can have him come and he
I
can
would
explain that.
love to have the opportunity to talk to him. Absolutely love it.
I will talk to him about that.
That would be awesome, because it would help me understand, because like I said, it's not that I'm against having police in our area. It's just, I think that if we're pulling from other areas and causing our neighbors to have less, that's not fair just because we can afford it and they can't. And that we need to figure out a better way to do this, not do it, a better way.
I will talk with Mike Murphy about coming in and doing
That would be awesome.
But I merely suggested that that's one way those funds could be used for the township's benefit.
And if that's the right way to do it, I'm 100% behind it, right?
We do have to remember that we have an aging sewer system as well. So having funds put aside for a rainy day
Yeah.
is a good plan.
Yeah, that sewer system is 20-plus years old. And, we just had another break on
24 years old.
on Old 23.
But we don't own that.
Yeah,
We
We
don't own the sewer
we
system,
don't
right?
own the sewer system, but we own the infrastructure.
Yeah, well, I
The
mean,
infrastructure is ours. So they do, and us on the sewer, Pam, we pay a ready-to-serve, and components of our bill are to keep
Yeah,
that.
that's why you collect
flowing.
the money for our sewers.
Yes.
every
sewer
quarter.
bills, yes, yes.
Correct.
But-
So another way to look at it is if it's a whole system, right, that's millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. So we own a certain piece of that. And if a sewer system goes bad, then we would be responsible for a certain piece of that. So that is
Right.
A percentage
correct.
of the whole thing.
Right.
Correct, whatever that percentage is or whatever our footprint is on that part of the sewer system.
But my understanding is Livingston County's got a huge amount of money right now that they're looking to do because they know they have an aging system. And they
I
know they're
wouldn't
gonna
say
have to
huge amount of
maintenance
money, but
repairs.
they do have money set aside.
Yes, they have money set aside.
Yes.
And again, if
Right.
if that's part of the budget talk, then we need the number they have. We need to know what they think they have to spend so that we can come up with an accurate number of what our portion's gonna be. Because again, I agree, we need to make sure it's in there, but I don't think we need to go, it may someday, somehow, the sky may fall, so let's keep $1 million. Well, yeah, it's possible, probably not gonna happen. And if it is, let's find out what the real cost of it is.
So one thing I do want to point out is just also, a lot of these discussions, we're talking general fund. So for that one, we're talking about the sewer fund. So when we go to the next, if we happen to go to the next page, we have in governments, there's fund accounting, so.
But then again, that's part of allocation, that non-allocated being allocated. to
No,
an area,
I'm
right?
saying it's a separate
But I'm
amount of
saying
money.
that would be
The sewer fund is
being
separate.
unallocated to an allocated.
No, the sewer fund is a separate fund in and of itself. It's called an enterprise fund, so by us.
So it's self-funded.
It's correct.
100%
That's another way to.
self-funded. We don't fund from
Correct.
outside.
Now, in the past, a long time ago, and I can't remember the date, the general fund had advanced money to help start it up. And then, the part of the reason that the general fund balance is up there now is last fiscal year, the sewer fund finally, after
20 years.
maybe 20 years, paid that $2.5 million advance back to the general fund.
Right.
So even with the public safety, I just want to point out, the public safety here is also a self-sustaining fund. It is a special revenue fund, so there's revenue from your taxes that goes into a public safety fund. So
But again, though, that means what you're telling me is that has nothing to do with this $7 million
That is
allocated funds.
that is correct for
So,
both of
again,
those.
It's irrelevant to the $7 million. That's self-funded, and it's a discussion on itself as to how we fund them.
That's correct. Those
Whether
are
we raise sewer
two
rates,
separate.
whether we increase our budget for this, whatever it may be. But again, it has nothing to do with these unallocated funds.
Correct. It does have discussion, like you said, if we have a fund balance in the sewer fund, then that's where you say infrastructure, which is very expensive, so.
And that's on here, and from
Correct.
what I've heard, We may need more money, we don't know, because we don't know what Livingston County has in funding, what theirs is, what the plan is for upgrades and increase. That's all stuff that should have been part of this discussion. Or are we gonna leave ourselves short where we have to borrow 3.5 million again? Because we know there's been what, 3 within the last year, major sewer dumps?
That's why we keep the reserve.
That's what the rainy day fund's for,
So that's
in
my
the sewer
point.
fund.
Again, wouldn't
Correct.
we have part of this discussion? Shouldn't have we went to talk to Livingston County? Hey, what's your plan for bringing this up to code, bringing it up to date? How much is it gonna cost? What's it gonna cost us? Get estimates again, and I'm talking lots of ball fields here, but an estimated, so we have some idea. So we don't end up halfway through this year, all of a sudden, they had a catastrophic failure out here, and they're going, okay, we can't fix this no more, we gotta do it, we got a choice now.
But
And then all of a sudden-
as an accountant, I would say, that also goes back to your other discussion. That's the reason why we keep $7 million in our fund balance in case of a rainy day, things like that.
That's not good accounting, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Having a huge balance over, just in case the sky falls, is not fair to these people out here.
Is the county still doing the match for road improvement work?
Yes, on pavement,
Okay.
on the PPP, yes.
Pavement
Yep,
only.
they match.
And again,
50%.
2.5 times operating cost is standard for most businesses, about anything out there. HOAs, whatever. I mean, I've sat on HOA boards for years and years, and we've always said 2.5, and our simple way was, it was easier for us to go to the HOA. We just reduced the dues.
So not to go to the next discussion, but when we do get to our fund balance policy, I did put 300% in there, so 3 times. And our unallocated is close to that, but it's not the whole 7. Our fund balance has multiple different layers of what's restricted, what's not, what's assigned, what's committed, so. I just want to make that clear that some of that is unassigned, so. And we are in that ballpark that you said, 2.5, we're in about 3, so.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Just 'cause she has to leave it.
All right,
No,
So-
it goes in and out.
back to item number 1, a resolution to adopt. I get a motion to adopt the 2026-2027 budget by department totals.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Support. Before I vote, I just want to say I'm very happy with these questions.
So roll call.
It's resolution.
Roll
Yeah,
call.
resolution. Yeah. Greg Carnes,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes?
Dean Haas,
No.
Herm Ferguson,
Yes.
Pam Offler, yes. Chris Repetta,
No?
Zach Tucker,
Yes.
All right.
And again, my no answer was because I believe those questions should have been asked.
As
All
well as
right, new
mine.
business number 2, resolution to adopt the fund balance policy.
Right, so this one's me again. So back when Joe came in, presented our audit, you guys had tasked us with getting a fund balance policy. I know this is about, I think, the 3rd time that it's come back in front of you. So what it is I did adopt it from the MGFOA, which is the Michigan Government Finance Officers Association, their sample. So what it is it's a guardrail, it's a policy, it's just kind of gives us some guidance on levels of fund balance, and it also details out the actual accounting per GASB 54 fund balance categories that we do need to maintain, which also when we get to Resolution 3, we can talk about that one as well. So just real quick, want to go over it. So in our audit, we do have non-spendable fund balance, which is an accounting term for such items as inventories and prepaids. We have restricted, which all of our special revenue funds are restricted because they are restricted for a specific purpose. We do have committed, which committed fund balance per GASB 54 It is the highest level of commitment, and that was through a board resolution back in 2016, I believe, is going to be the resolution. So tonight, in new item 3, we're bringing it to you to uncommit it, because the only way to uncommit a fund balance is to take the same action that it took to commit it. So that will be coming on item number 3 shortly. And then we have assigned fund balance, which is at the discretion of the township supervisor to assign that balance, and then the remaining fund balance is all unassigned. The only thing is on page 2, I did want to point out, my recommendation is that we have 50%, if we ever get low enough to 50%, that's our trigger to make moves to make sure that it does not drop below that. And then also, I do recommend that we have around 300 of expenditures, 300%, and that's kind of our trigger. As you can see there, we pay down future debt, transfer to capital projects, road projects, sewer projects. That's how you spend down that fund balance. Take any questions on it? And
Yeah, I thought we just said sewers were 100%.
correct. So that's it. That's if. Right. This is just an example on that. We can strike that off of there. Like I said, pulled wording from the MGFOA. The other ones, the capital projects, the road projects, are things that you would spend down the fund balance for.
Which makes sense, like I said.
And we can
we
can pull that one off of there. Yep. That's if you
Again, I
had.
don't care, if we don't have to, I don't have a problem doing it, I thought that
Well,
was what we
sewer
just said.
projects, the infrastructure is the townships, not just the sewer,
Correct. The sewer operations.
just
Yep.
not
I have a
just the
question.
people, residents that are on the
Heartland
sewer.
and Tyrone.
Yes, Heartland and.
Two meetings ago, we voted down the discussion for fund balances. Why are we bringing it up now? There was already been a board decision not to discuss this.
So I would say, did not know that, but the other thing I would say, in my professional opinion, it's just a policy on fund balance. It's good accounting. It's good township policy to have. I guess I would ask, like I said, in my professional opinion, it's just a resolution, just guidelines. I would approve this fund balance policy. It should be in place.
So why haven't we had one since 2017?
We have had one, it's not been expired, correct?
Well, and this one is just, this one's more
It's not
detailed. This
expired.
is,
You just said it was.
No, I said
It's-
it's not expired. Sorry, Casey.
like I said, as I'm saying, in my professional opinion, I would approve this policy. This is a policy that needs to be in place. It's more detailed. It also brings back some of the discussion. I know there was discussion in prior meetings about the committed fund balance. So if we had this policy in place, you would see the definitions of the committed fund balance. So those are certain things why I would have it in there, so.
Well, I appreciate your professional opinion, by the way. It's very good. But my question still is that I don't remember this coming up in post years since the resolution that expired in 2017. So how does it become a very good thing now, but hasn't needed to be in there from the past?
So I don't mean to correct you, but the committed fund balance did not expire. Per GASB 54, the committed fund balance is committed until the board takes an action to uncommit it. That is governmental.
The resolution we had expired.
It did not expire. It is.
I thought it had an expiration date on it.
Nope, it does not have an expiry date. On GASB 54, governmental accounting standards say, once a fund balance is committed by a board action, until the board uncommits it with a board action, it is committed. All of our audit reports since 2016 have had $500,000 of committed fund balance in them.
I understand that, but the policy that we used to do that expired.
This is just
This is a new
codifying the
This is a
policy
new way
into
we're
a
gonna
detailed
run
policy.
your business, because the other one is no longer intact. Is that-
It's more memorializing what GASB 54 is, which is the classification of fund balances. What happened back in 2016 is the board took action to commit fund balance. This is the policy to give you the guidance on which different fund balances there are. So, just so we're clear, 2016 did not expire. Tonight, if you take action to uncommit it, then it will not be committed. But that never expired, and per governmental accounting standards, that's the way that it was supposed to be.
But you're recommending 50%, not 500,000.
I'm recommending 50% of unassigned fund balance as a guardrail of once it gets,
minimum.
if we were to get to that minimum,
Minimum.
then that would be
Which
for
is
discussion.
$3.5 million.
Minimum.
50% of our fund balance, our expenses, I think were what, 2 million, so that'd be about $1 million. If unassigned fund balance got down to $1 million, then that's what this policy is saying, is really take a look at it, so.
So basically, just switch from dollar amount to a percentage, which makes it a little more functional based on.
Yeah, like I said, it's a
Committed funds.
it's a policy, GASB 54, whether you adopt this policy or not, is the standard that's used in our audits. And so this is memorializing GASB 54 as just a township policy with the number saying 50% in there and whatnot.
Is there a tweak that you think should be made to the second page relative to the issue that came up about the deficit notation there? Or does that not apply to this?
That won't apply to this one because
Okay.
we don't have it, no deficit.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to adopt the fund balance policy as presented.
So resolved.
Support.
Roll call.
Greg Carnes,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes?
Dean Hawes,
Yes?
Herman Ferguson,
Yes.
Pam Moffler, yes. Chris Repetta,
No, no, because I
Zach
believe.
Tucker,
Yes.
Okay.
To explain my no vote, which I'm required to do by my trustee manual, I'm voting no because I don't believe that we have a need for more than 500,000 that Casey has already told us that it's reallocating every year. We don't have a need for additional, so that's why I'm voting no.
All right, item number 3 under new business, resolution to uncommit the fund balance.
So this is to piggyback off of the last fund balance policy. So since 2016, we have had a $500,000 committed fund balance. Back on that resolution, original resolution, it said to make up for timing differences of when taxes are collected. That is not a concern at the current time within the township, and I would recommend that you uncommit that fund balance.
so resolved.
Can you explain a little,
I'll second.
Yeah,
this is just so you're taking this away because we just did the other.
correct. So the only thing that it does is, and for.
Takes the resolution away.
Not to make it simplified, but on our audit, when our audit comes out, instead of a line that says committed of 500, it'll now be in the unassigned. It won't be by itself, it's just
Okay.
going back into the uncommitted.
So there's
Unassigned.
a motion to approve and a second.
Jennifer made the resolution to uncommit the fund balance, and I seconded it.
And
I'll
this
do
is
a roll
call
call.
vote.
Yep. Greg Carnes,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes?
Dean Hawes,
Yes.
Herman Ferguson,
Yes.
Pam Moffler, yes. Chris Repetta,
No, for the same reason.
Zach Tucker,
Yes.
Okay, new business item number 4, the resolution to establish the 2026-2027 Headley operating tax millage rate, which is .8382, correct?
0.9018.
Yeah, so
Up to.
just jump in on this one. So this one is our authorization that is up to 9.018. The current year that taxing, it's at 8.83. So these are based on calculations by the state on how much we could levy. This is just authorizing up to that levy, but as I've said the last couple of years, I can't remember unless Jennifer corrects me that
It's been.
it's been going
lower
down every year, so.
Yeah, and these numbers come from the STC.
Yeah.
State Tax Commission.
Yeah.
It is a multiplier sheet. You use previous year rate, you subtract your losses, you times the inflation rate, you divide the current year taxable value, and that gives you that number. It gives them that number.
And just,
One more time on that.
You want me to say it?
Just one more time.
She's had to repeat it
So,
for me a few
previous
times.
year rate,
Okay.
and then you subtract your losses, you multiply your inflation number, the rate that we have,
Okay.
the state's inflation
State
rate,
inflation rate, right.
and you divide it by the current year taxable value.
Okay.
That gives you that.
There will be a test tomorrow.
I will fail.
And just so we're clear, the reason that we present what the taxes are being levied at right now of 0.83 is because when the new rate's set for the upcoming tax year, that's around the May, June timeframe. So this is just the authorization up to that point, but obviously the team would be getting back to you guys with it's called the L4029 will come before you as well in June. Okay, it usually comes in June, so.
So I'll entertain a motion to establish the 2026, 2027 Headley operating tax millage rate.
So moved.
Support.
And roll call.
Greg Carnes,
Yes.
Herman Ferguson,
Yes.
Dean Haas,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden. Yes. Chris Repetta,
Yes.
Pam Opper, yes. Zach Tucker.
Yes.
All righty. Item number 5, resolution to adopt Senate Bill number 7, health insurance provision for the 2026, 2027 fiscal year.
I think we need a cost comparison sheet because we have options that impact what the costs would be if we apply the healthcare costs today. What would they be under each option? I see the formulas are under the option, and I've read through the law, but it's not clear as to what the impact would be financially based on our health plan. This is just a restatement of the law options. Can we postpone this one until next meeting and get that data pulled together?
Yeah, I'd like the breakdown. I'd be interested to see what the breakdown of costs are, you know.
I think the breakdown was on the cost when we approved the insurance January 20th of this year.
But not against these options.
Well, I think if you apply option one is unclear what a hard cap would be. If you apply the second one, you'd effectively be reducing employee compensation by doing that. Am I right about that?
Yeah. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yes. So section 8 is what we typically,
Those principles I completely understand. I just know that from reading there's a lot of different items. For example, number 3 or section 3 in the law, it does go through a bunch of different combinations, whether someone's a single payer, married, all these different things, the values change. And I would like to know how that matches up to what our costs that were approved by the board would look like if we adopt this hard cap. Then to do the same exercise with the 80-20 in dollars. I understand that what you're talking about by saying that's what it looks like, but I'd like to see the worksheet done with our actual costs.
And I'd like to know too, I mean, is that, I'm assuming that is just the health insurance? That's, because they also have Aflac and short-term disability.
It's just the health
Is
insurance.
that all part of that?
It's
health
just the
insurance?
health insurance.
So that's a number we don't have that is also, and I don't understand, does everybody get Aflac and short-term disability, or is it just officers, or
No, every employee and
all
officers.
employees? All employees.
and us officers.
And now is that the 80, is this in health insurance, all employees too? So is that part of their compensation package?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they have
Yep.
medical.
Yeah, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that, the compensation packages for all the employees.
I'd like to make a resolution to adopt the Senate Bill number 7, health insurance provision for the 2026 to 2027 fiscal year.
Support.
There's a motion to adopt Senate Bill number 7, health insurance provision for the 2026, 2027 fiscal
Do you need
year.
to specify which one?
Yep.
New business number 5.
Section 8,
And we're going
number
to go
3.
under
Number
section
3 's
8.
exemption, yep.
Is this the first time that this has been brought
And-
before the board and?
No, this was brought last year.
Every
and the
year.
previous
Every
year.
year.
That's all I'm
Previous,
asking.
Yep, yep.
And
I'll do a roll call vote. Greg Carnes,
yes,
Jennifer Eden,
Yes,
Dean Haas,
No, because I like more
Herman
information.
Ferguson,
Yes.
Pam Moffler, yes. Chris Repetta,
No, I'd like to see the
Zach
detail.
Tucker.
Yes.
Please provide a time for us to tell us why when we vote no. That's an obligation we have as trustees. Don't just talk over us and move on.
Okay.
Herman.
All right, number 6, new business, resolution to establish the 2026-2027 trustees' salary.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a few notations before we get into resolutions to the board, to present numbers to the
Okay.
board.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
All right.
So everyone received an Excel spreadsheet from me. Last year, we went with the 4 townships and cities that were mirror images. Marion Township is the one that is...
Livingston County.
Or Livingston
Townships.
County, yes, yes.
Yes.
Marion Township is a mirror township in terms of their population, in terms of their businesses as well, and our hours are the same. And I'd like to point out in going through this spreadsheet, and I hope everyone looked at it, for Tyrone Township, the current pay rate for the supervisor is $53,880. Marion Township, it's $69,673. So that's a difference of $15,793 a year.
Do they get free health care? Do they get Aflac?
I
Do
will,
they
I
get-
will tell you what they get.
They get more.
They get more. So the Blue Cross, Blue Shield they get, it's in the spreadsheet, you can look at it. They pay 10% of the premium. However, the township contributes 8% of employees' gross earnings to a 401K in Marion Township. That's what it states here. So moving on to the treasurer in Marion Township. The treasurer receives $69,673. Tyrone Township currently receives, our treasurer receives $60,000. So that's a difference of $9,673.
What was that, 9,000?
9,000, hold on a second. 673. 673. So as for the clerk, the Marion Township clerk makes $76,720. The current clerk makes $63,791.04. That's a difference of $12,928.96.
They earn it.
Who said that? Please leave.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
I don't need comment.
Wait a minute. We have no authority to do
The
that.
same thing
We have not-
last
Thank you.
We do not have a way of
Thank you.
enforcing our, that's,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but Greg,
So in
that's against
addition-
policy right there. There, you have we have no policy in place for enforcing.
In addition,
Please carry on.
in the Excel spreadsheet, you can see that each employee, I have listed their wages, and their names are in red. So you can go through that, and you will find that in each line item in the budget that we presented quite some time ago.
That was inappropriate. You had no authority to do that, Mr. Carnes. We have no way of enforcing those right now. You guys have decided that you didn't want to have a policy to enforce these rules.
So you'll see their wages reflected in each department in the line item, and that will match pretty close to what their exact pay is here, with the exception of a 5% increase for each employee as well. So that's all the comments I wanted to make regarding the budget and compensation for employees as well. In addition to, the per diem rates are typically increased every 5 years for Board of Trustee members. And so that's why it's on the budget to increase the per diem rate for Board of Trustee members. That's the first resolution on there.
Did anyone have any questions of me in this spreadsheet that you received?
You guys are just terrible, and I'm not going to be part of this tonight.
All right, so I'm looking for.
Did anyone have any questions?
I don't, but I want
it.
it noted for the record that trustee Haas and Repetta has left the table.
Did you have any questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Thanks for providing to that, Pam.
Yes,
You're welcome.
that was well done. So, I'm looking for a motion to establish the 2026-2027 trustee salary.
It's weird to vote for your own thing, so I'm gonna have to say no. I can't vote.
I'll make, so move the resolution.
I'll second.
So no, for me,
Yeah.
Zach, do you have any?
You talking about whether we would vote on it or not?
Yeah.
Jennifer made the
Historically,
motion,
we always
I
have.
second it.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, roll call.
Okay. Pam Offler? Yes. Greg Carnes?
Yes.
Jennifer Eden?
Yes.
Herman Ferguson?
No.
Zach Tucker?
He's gonna.
It's up to you, Zach.
Come on, Zach.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So it has passed. So who made the motion?
I did.
Jennifer,
And
and
Greg
then
seconded.
Greg second, okay. And Chris Repetta is no
No
Chris
show.
Repetta is not here. Dean Haas is
No
not
show.
here, both of them have left.
All right, new business number 7, resolution to establish the 2026-2027 supervisor's salary.
So public comment causes me to ask you a question, and I hate to do this to you in the public meeting
Go
format,
ahead,
Greg.
fire away.
Are you here full-time?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, and you know what, don't ask me, ask these two. Am I here?
Oh, I
Does
take
he
your word
have,
for
take
it.
a day off once in a while? Yes.
My personal opinion, I
His
wouldn't
butt's
do
been
you,
in the seat.
Greg.
I will tell you that I commit over 32 hours a week to this township. Over 32. It may not be in this office 9 to 5, but it is Fridays and Saturdays and evenings. Thursday night, I'll be at the Fenton Township board meeting. I mean, I don't have to justify to people.
Greg,
You
I've
don't,
seen
you don't
that.
want me, don't vote for me in the next 2.5 years or
I'm just
whatever.
saying, I've seen how much you've done a better job. So are we ready to vote?
Yep.
Yep.
I would make a resolution to approve the supervisor's salary as presented.
Support.
New business, oh.
Okay, roll call.
You gotta vote on it.
Greg Carnes?
We don't vote.
I was just taking a
Greg
heavy
Carnes?
breath. Yes.
Jennifer Eden?
Yes.
Dean Haas is absent. Herman Ferguson?
Yes.
Pam Offler, yes. Chris Repetta, absent. Zach Tucker?
Yes.
All
right.
right, that resolution passes.
New business number 8, resolution to establish the 2026-2027 clerk's salary.
So resolved to establish the 2026-27 clerk's salary.
I'll second.
So one question I do
Yes.
want to ask before I vote. I do remember the increase in compensation due to the as I recall, absentee voter requirements.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Well, the early
7
voting.
day, 7 days.
Early voting, early
Yes,
days,
yeah,
okay.
9 days of early voting for each election.
And that would be applicable every year now, is that correct?
Every year, with the exception of special elections, we are not doing early voting for them.
Okay,
Yeah, that would be a misuse of resources.
so the added items on your plate have not decreased since that?
No,
point, I
they've
guess would be
actually
my-
increased.
That's kind of what I figured. Okay.
And one of the things I'd like to point out on record, one of my duties that's increased are the number of FOIAs that our FOIA coordinator receives. And we've had a lot of requests. Our FOIA requests are now requesting security camera footage, and I'm the only one that can do that. So that has increased for me as well.
Thank you.
I will,
In one of my duties, in one area.
I will also include that, from my observation, the clerk's department is extremely
Busy.
overloaded. And I have, when I first started as the supervisor, Emily actually worked for me or in my group, and we moved her over into the clerk's department to help out more. She directly reports to Pam now. And I'm still not sure that's enough to help out the clerk's department. So,
Okay.
and they earn every penny.
So did we make a?
There's a resolution to
Right.
support, I
Yeah.
think.
And I
I
second-
interrupted
yeah.
it,
I
so,
second it.
sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Well, we had to have.
Now I need to do the roll call.
Yes.
Greg Carnes,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes?
Dean Haas is absent, Herman Ferguson,
Yes.
Pam Moffler, yes. Chris Rapetta is absent, Zach Tucker.
Yes.
So that resolution.
That resolution
Yes, passed.
carries. Okay, new business number 9, resolution to establish the 2026-2027 treasurer's salary.
So moved, I resolve to establish the 2026-2027 treasurer's salary.
Support.
Roll call vote?
Zach Tucker,
Yes.
Chris Rapetta is absent, Pam Moffler, yes. Herman Ferguson,
Yes.
Dean Haas is absent, Jennifer Eden,
Yes?
Greg Carnes.
Yes. All right, that motion carries. New business number 10. This is where my estimates.
Where your confusion was?
Yeah, at the start, I don't know what I was thinking. You'll see in the packet there, I asked the road commission for an estimate on
Gravel park.
gravel, that hill on Foley Road. When they put what is that called again, where Kandahar used to be?
Foley Ridge.
Yeah,
Yes.
Foley Ridge,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I live right across, so.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, so you like this being re-gravelled?
That's why I'm still here.
I have received a couple emails with people saying, yeah. I remember that hill washing out often. And so, and then with Foley Ridge being put in there, I think the water flow has even increased. So my hope is that they can do something with those drainage ditches and keep the water channeled away from the gravel on the road. And anyway, that's that's a copy of the estimate that.
And that was included in the budget already.
Yeah, and we did put this in the budget. So
No motion has to be made on that.
we don't need a motion.
No.
No, don't do it.
That-
It's already
That's really
approved with
just
the
there for information.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Does that include, would there be any benefit to additional drainage work? I mean, I know it says limited drainage work. If we can prevent the problem.
Yes, so that includes everything that they need to do
Okay,
in order to do a good job.
awesome.
I mean, as good as you can on a gravel, because it will
Right.
deteriorate too.
Mike, you say you live right, it's on that hill, correct?
It's-
Yeah.
The whole,
Issues from, and I only go out most of the time, heading west. But I can tell you that on the south side of Foley, there are no drainage ditches. It basically, Foley is the drainage ditch.
oh, geez.
The ones that they put in for Kandahar, or Foley Ridge, between the hill and Foley Ridge, people drive in them because they can avoid the potholes that way. They did grade, and they did a good job down at the bottom where the swamp is. But the holes that they filled in at the top of the hill and at Foley Ridge, there is no stop sign, by the way, so everybody just kind of swings out, tears up the road there. They graded on Friday, and by Saturday, Sunday, we were back to the same potholes. So there are some significant issues.
Yeah, they looked at it.
There are some attention on the north side. There's one, I know for sure.
So we're gonna go ahead and just get cost on it, Greg, or they're just?
No,
it's already in
I
our
got
budget.
a cost and we put it in the
Yeah,
budget.
Center
That's a
Road,
proposal.
Fawcett
Right.
Road,
That's
that
what I
little
thought.
section, and this is on.
And if
already
you
in
look
the
at
budget.
this bid, they are adding approximately 6 inches of 23A gravel. Not an aggregate, but I don't know exactly what 23A gravel is, but I'm assuming it's a hard pack type.
In the 32 years I've lived in my house, I've had to lower my driveway entrance 4 times because the road keeps getting scraped down.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help with the ditches and all.
Right. Well, they're adding 6 inches.
So
According to
maybe they
this-
can save my back one time.
According to this estimate, so. All right, miscellaneous business?
I think Herman had something.
Yes, Greg, let me check in here on my email. I'm sure that everybody, I don't know if you all had a chance to read that, but it was kind of concerning. As I stopped for lunch, I read this. I don't know if you want me to read this, what it is. It's from a employee here, that a trustee came in and she felt like he was very rude to her.
He was asking me a question.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I figured, I'm
No,
sorry.
did you read it?
Oh, yeah, I read it.
Okay,
I
just
read it a
wondered
couple times.
what your thoughts were, and what can we do to help the employees of this township? You read it, Zach?
I did, yeah.
I'd just like an open discussion on this.
Very disappointing.
It is because it disrupts the whole office for considerable amounts of time afterwards as well. But I don't know what to do about it.
Well, I'd just like it on
it's
public
disrupt-
record, and so would the employees that were threatened, they felt like they were. And I don't know if I need to read the whole thing, or what we're gonna do about it. And Chuck, if you could look into that and see what we can do to prevent this
Why
in
don't you
the,
go ahead and read it?
okay, here we go.
Please, no names for, not
Keep the,
the trustee, but for
Well,
the
then somebody, I might
employee.
not do that.
Okay, thank you.
No names at all?
No, just for the employee, for their
yeah.
confidence.
Dear board members, I am sending this email to the entire board for the documentation purpose regarding recent interactions involving Mr. Chris Repetta. On Tuesday, February 24th, 2026, Mr. Repetta came into the cashier's office to pay 2 FOIA requests, one for himself and one for Jeanette Repetta. After completing those transactions, he also paid his 2025 winter property taxes. As you are aware, this is an extremely busy time for the cashier's office, with only 3 remaining days for the 2025 tax payments to be made at the township. For clarification, when a FOIA payment is made, I am required to provide the receipt to our FOIA coordinator for verification of payment before the request can be released. After processing all 3 of Mr. Repetta's transactions, I noticed several residents waiting in line. In an effort to keep the line moving and remaining at the cashier's counter, I handed Mr. Repetta the additional FOIA receipts and politely asked if he would give them to the receptionist so he could proceed with obtaining his request. I have no way of knowing whether a receipt intends to pick up their FOIA in person or receive it electronically. My intent was simply to ensure the process continued efficiently without leaving the counter unattended. As Mr. Repetta walked away, he stated, "Sure, I'll do your job for you." While I did not hear the entire comment clearly, several staff members and at least one resident in line did hear it. When the next resident approached my counter, he remarked, "Wow, I recognize that guy. He's the one that puts all the ridiculous stuff on the internet. You can't fix stupid." At that time, I was not fully aware of what Mr. Repetta had said. I want to be clear that I am not intimidated by Mr. or Mrs. Repetta. However, I believe it is important to document instances in which staff are openly disrespected while performing their assignments and duties. On Tuesday, March 3rd, ironically, as I was typing this email, Mr. Repetta returned to the office to pay for additional FOIA requests. As he spoke with the FOIA coordinator, I remained present in the office with her after handing her his receipts. For safety and professionalism, we do not leave any staff member alone during these interactions with Mr. or Mrs. Repetta. Mr. Repetta told me, or more of kind of directed me, that I could leave. However, I remained in the office and made it clear I was not leaving. For some reason, Mr. Repetta believes he can tell employees where they need to be when working at the township. He then engaged in an argumentative discussion with our FOIA coordinator regarding FOIA laws. At her request of not wanting to engage negatively with Mr. Repetta, I informed Supervisor Carnes that his presence was needed, which required interrupting a previously scheduled meeting that he was currently in attendance. I would also like to note that when either of the Repettas enter the office, that the overall atmosphere noticeably changes. Staff members have expressed discomfort, and interactions are frequently tense and at times perceived as demanding. Mrs. Repetta regularly records staff with her camera while in the office, yet has stated at board meetings that she feels uncomfortable coming into the office due to the cameras in the building. On a few occasions, staffs have held up their phones in response without recording. There appears to be inconsistency in objecting to her being recorded while she routinely, there we go, record staff. I am documenting these incidents to ensure that there is a formal record of these interactions. Mr. Repetta's conduct appears not to be limited to disagreements with board members, but extends demanding and disrespectful comments directed toward office staff, sometimes in the presence of residents. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter. I hope you are able to have a productive board meeting this evening. Thank you.
Chuck, can you give us some guidance on this, if we can somehow direct him that he's not allowed where the employees are?
I think one of the options that you have is that you could, because of conduct in the past, indicate that that individual or other ones that engage in similar conduct are not allowed down to the business offices of Township Hall. And if that is the case, they should be given notice in writing that they're not welcome down there, unless they're specifically invited by one of the officers or an employee.
Right.
That way, if they do engage and go where they're not supposed to be, there may be some sort of action that you can take to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'll check, but I think that's one of the options that you have.
I will include that. We have had many conversations, the three of us, with all of our employees, and their disrespect for anybody who works in this office is terrible. They treat them like they are a nobody. They do not treat them with dignity. They do not treat them with respect. They're criticizing every move they make. Actually, every one of us. We see it at the board table, right? And I think to allow or keep allowing this to happen to our employees is wrong, and I believe it is up to the board to make a decision to do something about it, so our employees don't have to be a part of that.
See, with me, I'm not in here, and I don't know what Zach sees, but I don't know what's going on until I get something like this, you know, where employees let us know as trustees what's going on. We don't know that. Do you care to?
There's a lot that I've been concerned about, the things that I've heard from employees reporting the same sorts of things. So I share the concern.
So the reason I brought it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you. I'd
go
just
ahead.
be interested to see what options there are.
Well, it's the same concern that we have. When we leave these meetings, we do feel intimidated. Pam and I and the deputy clerk do wait for a male gentleman to walk us out. We're not going out those doors without anybody because of their attitude. And it is sad to say, it should not be that way. It hasn't been that way for the years prior that I've been on this board. And I hate to see it now. So I think we do have to, in this day and age, something needs to be done. Because our employees should not have to feel that way coming to work.
Well, we have, you know, a lady that attended here, and she sees this, and I agree, it needs to change. It does need to change. I agree with you, ma'am, on this. But I've been on the board for 6.5 years. We never had this problem before. You can go back and see it. And I'm not discounting Chris has good stuff. He does, and so does Dean. But the problem is we gotta work together here. And I've talked to people going back 50 years that sat on this board. Nobody's ever come with 80 questions to ask here. This isn't a fact-finding thing. It's not a workshop. I would love to have workshops if things would smooth out where we could talk. But I have an article right here that a gentleman on the planning commission wrote. It came in the Tri-County Times in a meeting that was 2 hours and 12 minutes. He took 1 hour and 45 of that. That's not fair to the rest of us. And it's not fair to the citizens because we were elected to represent them. And a lot of people that have voted for me, they don't want this. They don't want somebody dominate, and he's reminded us many times that he is a manager of over 5,000 people. He doesn't manage us. I'm not one of his subordinates, and neither are we. I will never be a subordinate of his. And if Chris Rapetta's not happy, nobody's happy. That's the end of what I have to say.
All right.
I do want to show.
When does that become a civil infraction?
What's that?
At what point does that become?
That's what Chuck will find out.
Because that's the real question.
Right.
So,
I do want to share with the other board members that decided to stay today, that the document and the questions that Rapetta was talking, trustee Rapetta was talking about, we sent out the budget in January, right? He had over 150 questions in this big old document. Pam, Greg, Casey have spent hours of our time answering these questions. We invited him in to meet with us last Wednesday. He was not able to come, but he came in Tuesday to get his FOIAs paid for and harass our employees. He came in today to...
I invited him today, too.
Yes,
To
tonight
answer the
before the
question.
meeting, to answer the questions. So it's not that we don't have the questions and we're not unwilling to answer them. We have all of the answers. Some of his questions are really rude and proves that he doesn't know how to read a budget. I'm not sure where the disconnect is. He asked us about insurance, what the premiums were. We just approved that in January, so I'm not sure why he doesn't know that information. He asked us about road, the money we set aside for roads. We also approved that. He's asking us about that. PEG coordinator. Now, this is the one that really gets my goat. I have sat up here and talked about the FACT group and the PEG coordinator. I don't know how many times. I couldn't even count on two hands how many times. And He has on here his little note, this allocation has increased 38% with an average of 12% each year over the past 3 years. Does this go directly to Jennifer in a form of a wage increase? What allocation does this fall under for the current treasurer, who is our PEG coordinator? Anybody on this board think that I'm the PEG coordinator?
No.
It is Michael Fox. He gets the $4,000. And we talk about this every year when it comes time we have to allow those or allocate those funds. So I don't know where he gets this. So a
Does
couple of
Michael put
these-
it in his pocket?
Yes, he does. He does get that money. That little bugger, he gets it. So, you know, some of these questions, you know, he's asking why postage is up. It increased 3 times last year. Okay, I don't know why you don't know that. Revenue sharing, why is that down? Well, your governor took 6% sales tax from the gas pumps and is allocating it elsewhere. So that might be why revenue sharing is down, but, you know, look at the facts. I don't know. Some of these questions, I give him, you know, are legit questions, and we were willing to answer them. We thought a face-to-face with him instead of writing our answers on the paper would be better, because in case he had additional questions, why we were answering those questions. But let me be clear. This is where I'm getting at. It is not our statutory duty to give him 150 answers to his questions. It's not our statutory duty. I did not go to school and have the school teacher and the kids in my class give me the answers to my test. I reviewed the information, I did it on my own. Just like all these other members sitting on the board, they called, they asked questions, whatever they didn't understand.
It's
And
taken
he
me
could have done
15
it.
months to figure that thing out.
That's right, but
I still
they
don't
could
know.
have done the same thing. When he was in the office today, he could have asked us, he didn't. When he was in the office last Tuesday badgering our employees, he could have stopped in our office. We're in our office every day. He could have done these. So I want the public to know that, and I want the other 2 trustees that aren't in the office to understand that he could have asked these questions anytime he's here. Pick up the phone, whatever. You're right, gentlemen, who said that this is not the correct place to answer all these questions, and it isn't. Everybody has to do their own homework. It's called statutory duties. You have to get your questions answered before you come to the board so we collectively can make a decision. So now I'm done. Thank you. I just wanted to get that out there.
Thank you for taking the time
Well
to talk through
done.
it with me. So,
You're welcome.
Does anybody else, you got a spiel?
I don't have a spiel. Thanks for putting me on the spot. I do kind of want to add a little bit to my concern with this letter that we received, because it wasn't, Jennifer, I think you said last Tuesday when he was in here, but today, well, we were having our meeting and Greg got called out. There was an employee that he was harassing over a FOIA and questioning. And I have concerns about that because Greg was called out and Jennifer and I followed, and it wasn't pretty what I seen, what he was doing to one of our employees. And I think residents as well as the board need to understand that this is occurring, and it's been occurring for 15 months. Our employees are being harassed, they're being intimidated, and we need to do something about it.
So we'll get some
All right.
direction from Chuck,
Yeah,
what we can
I
do,
wish-
and possibly on the next board table, have it, or make some kind of determination.
Well, this was an interesting board meeting.
I wish
I'd like to see what the next one's gonna be like.
I wish I understood the anger. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get that they think they love the township more than any one of us. Any one of you, any one of the residents watching. We all love the township. Why the anger? I'm sorry. I wish I had. I wish I knew. I Wish I knew.
Well, I just want to say, Jennifer, you and Greg, thank you. I came in this week, talked about the questions. Casey, thank you for putting it together. You know, in a certain thing, I have business, I have a tree business. People have to trust me. Zach is an attorney, Chuck is. At a certain point, I don't know it. I'll have to trust them to do their job. And I welcome Dean and Chris to come back. I want them to get their questions answered and to feel part of the board, but we'd like to feel part of it too, and not have somebody dominate a whole entire thing. And it's been 14 months. And like I said, we need to change things. So I'm finished.
Yep.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Who's second?
Over.
I did.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I just wanted to be clear, I wasn't directing just at you, but at everyone
Yes.
who
I got that.
talks and fights.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank
I know we
you.
got a little upset.
That was a
Like,
little-
It wasn't just you guys. But can you just have more people sitting and ask more help? Is that like $7 million extra? Is that possible? Is that something you can put on your budget?
Well, we've talked
Is
about
that
it.
bad?
It's,
Because, well, I mean, with,
It's here.
well, with all the, like, it's the FOIA thing now, but also,
well,
right,
now,
with all of the early voting, that's